the heart of Eldoria, where the sun filtered through emerald leaves and the air hummed with magic, lay the ancient forest. It was a place of wonder and mystery, where time seemed to stand still, and whispers floated through the trees like echoes of forgotten tales. Villagers spoke of it in hushed tones, warning children to stay away, for the forest was said to be alive, filled with spirits, creatures, and secrets waiting to be uncovered. Among the villagers was a young girl named Mira. With her wild curls and curious spirit, she felt an unexplainable pull toward the forest. Every evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, she would stand at the edge, captivated by the flickering lights that danced among the trees. One fateful night, drawn by the enchanting whispers, Mira decided to venture into the forest. Clutching a small lantern, she stepped beyond the threshold, ready to discover the magic that lay within. As Mira wandered deeper into the forest, the air grew cooler, and the sounds of the outside world faded away. The trees towered above her, their trunks thick and gnarled, adorned with vibrant moss and glowing fungi. She marveled at the beauty around her, her heart racing with excitement. Suddenly, she heard a soft rustling nearby. Mira turned to see a small creature darting between the trees, an ethereal fox with silvery fur that shimmered like starlight. It paused, its luminous eyes meeting hers. "Follow me," it seemed to whisper, before bounding away into the underbrush. Without hesitation, Mira followed the fox, her curiosity guiding her through the forest. The path twisted and turned, and the air was filled with the scent of wildflowers and damp earth. As she ran, she felt a sense of belonging, as if the forest welcomed her home. Eventually, the fox led her to a clearing bathed in moonlight. At its center stood a massive tree, its trunk wide and ancient, its branches stretching toward the stars. Mira gasped as she saw a circle of glowing figures surrounding the tree, spirits of the forest, each one unique and beautiful. They danced gracefully, their laughter like chimes in the night. Mira felt an overwhelming sense of joy and wonder. She stepped closer, entranced by their movements, when one of the spirits, a radiant woman with flowing hair that resembled leaves, turned to her. "Welcome, child of the forest," she said, her voice melodic and soothing. "We have waited for you." Mira's heart raced. "You've been waiting for me? Why?" "The whispers of the forest have guided you here for a purpose," the spirit explained. "The balance of our realm is in danger. A darkness approaches, threatening to consume the light. Only a true heart can help us restore harmony." "What must I do?" Mira asked, her determination solidifying. "The heart of the forest, a sacred gem hidden deep within the woods, has been stolen. You must retrieve it and return it to the great tree to save our home." The spirit, who introduced herself as Lyriel, gestured toward the depths of the forest. "The path will not be easy. You will face trials that test your courage, wisdom, and heart. But remember, you are not alone." Mira glanced around at the spirits, feeling their encouragement envelop her like a warm embrace. With a newfound sense of purpose, she nodded. "I will do it." As she prepared to set off, Lyriel handed her a small pendant shaped like a leaf. "This will guide you. Hold it close and it will light your way when darkness surrounds you." Mira ventured into the depths of the forest, following the pendant's gentle glow. The path twisted and turned, leading her to a dark thicket where brambles grew thick and wild. She could hear the faint sound of a river nearby, but the way was blocked. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed through the thicket. "Who dares enter my domain?" Mira stepped forward, her heart pounding. "I seek the heart of the forest. I am here to restore balance." From the shadows emerged a massive bear, its fur dark as night, eyes glinting with ancient wisdom. "To pass, you must prove your courage. Face your fears and show me you are worthy." The bear stepped aside, revealing a dark cave beyond the thicket. Mira hesitated, the thought of entering the cave filling her with trepidation. But she remembered Lyriel's words and the purpose that drove her. "I can do this," she whispered to herself, taking a deep breath. With determination, she entered the cave, the darkness enveloping her like a shroud. Inside, shadows danced on the walls and eerie sounds echoed around her. Mira's heart raced as she navigated the winding passages, each step filled with uncertainty. Suddenly, she heard a voice. a familiar voice. "Mira, why did you come here? You don't belong in this dark place." It was the voice of her late mother, a gentle reminder of love and home. Tears filled Mira's eyes. "I'm here to save the forest," she called out, her voice trembling. "I have to be brave." As she continued deeper into the cave, Mira found herself surrounded by illusions of her fears: doubt, loneliness, and the loss of loved ones. But with each step, she focused on the memories of love and laughter, allowing them to guide her. "I am strong," she declared, her voice growing steadier. "I carry the light of those I love within me." With that affirmation, the pendant around her neck began to glow brightly, illuminating the cave. The shadows receded, revealing a path forward. Mira emerged from the cave, her heart filled with newfound strength and courage. The bear awaited her at the entrance, nodding in approval. "You have faced your fears and emerged stronger. You may pass." But Mira continued her journey, the pendant guiding her through the forest until she reached a serene glade. In its center lay a small pond, its waters clear as crystal. But as Mira approached, she noticed that the water began to ripple and swirl. From the depths, a figure emerged, a beautiful water nymph with shimmering scales and flowing hair. "To pass, you must answer my riddle," she said, her voice like the babbling brook. "What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 3 legs in the evening?" Mira pondered the riddle, recalling tales her mother had told her. "A human," she answered confidently. "As a baby, they crawl on all 4s, walk on 2 legs as an adult, and use a cane in old age." The nymph smiled, her eyes sparkling. "You are wise beyond your years. You may continue on your quest." With the trials behind her, Mira felt a surge of hope as she ventured closer to the heart of the forest. The trees began to thin, revealing a breathtaking clearing bathed in golden light. In the center stood a pedestal upon which rested the heart of the forest, a radiant gem pulsating with life. Mira approached it, her heart racing with anticipation. As she reached for the gem, a dark shadow loomed overhead. A sinister figure appeared, a sorcerer cloaked in darkness, his eyes filled with malice. "Foolish girl," he sneered. "You think you can take the heart? It belongs to me now." Mira stood her ground, clutching the pendant tightly. "I won't let you harm the forest or its magic." The sorcerer unleashed a wave of dark energy, but Mira held the pendant aloft. The light within it flared, pushing back against the darkness. "You will not take what is meant to protect this realm." A fierce battle ensued, magic clashing in a dazzling display of light and shadow. Mira drew upon the strength of the forest, feeling the spirits rallying behind her. With one final surge of power, she unleashed a wave of light that engulfed the sorcerer, banishing him into the shadows. With the sorcerer defeated, Mira approached the heart of the forest. As she lifted the gem, a warm glow enveloped her, filling her with a sense of peace and purpose. The pendant pulsed in harmony with the heart, and Mira felt the magic of the forest flow through her. She returned to the great tree, placing the heart back in its rightful place. The tree shimmered with renewed energy, its branches stretching high above, and the forest erupted in vibrant colors. The whispers of the spirits filled the air, a chorus of gratitude and joy. As Mira stood beneath the great tree, Lyriel appeared before her, her radiant form glowing. "You have restored the balance, brave one. You are now the guardian of the forest, protector of its magic." Mira felt a swell of pride and responsibility. "I will do everything I can to protect this place." "Remember," Lyriel said, "the whispers of the forest will always guide you. Trust in your heart, and you will never be alone." As Mira made her way back to the village, the forest felt different, alive and vibrant, filled with magic and possibility. The villagers welcomed her with open arms, their faces filled with gratitude and wonder. "You've returned," Finn exclaimed, running to embrace her. "We were worried." "I did it," Mira said, her heart swelling with joy. "The forest is safe, and I'm its guardian now." Eleonora smiled, her eyes shining with admiration. "You're amazing, Mira. We always knew you were destined for greatness." As the seasons passed, Mira embraced her role as the guardian of the ancient forest. She learned to communicate with the spirits, nurturing the land and ensuring that its magic thrived. With Finn and Eleonora by her side, they explored the wonders of the forest, discovering new creatures and hidden realms. The villagers began to share stories of Mira's bravery, passing them down through generations. The whispers of the ancient forest became a part of their lives, a reminder of the magic that lay just beyond their doorstep. One day, as Mira stood beneath the great tree, she felt a gentle breeze caress her face. The whispers of the forest filled her ears, reminding her of the bond she shared with this land. She closed her eyes, feeling the energy of the earth beneath her feet. With a smile, Mira realized that her journey was just beginning. The forest held countless secrets, and she was ready to uncover them all. Together with her friends, she would protect the magic of Eldoria, ensuring that the whispers of the ancient forest would echo through time, forever.
In the quaint town of Eldridge, time seemed to stand still. Nestled between rolling hills and whispering pines, the town was a place where everyone knew each other, and secrets lingered like shadows in the corners of old houses. Among the cobblestone streets and charming cottages, one building stood out, a small, unassuming clock shop owned by the enigmatic clockmaker, Mr. Alastair Pendleton. Mr. Pendleton was a man of few words, his silver hair always neatly combed, and his spectacles perched on the bridge of his nose. The townsfolk regarded him with a mix of admiration and curiosity. His clocks were renowned for their intricate designs and impeccable craftsmanship, but whispers of a deeper secret surrounded the clockmaker and his shop. It was said that Mr. Pendleton held the key to time itself. Legends floated through Eldridge like autumn leaves, tales of a clock that could alter time, hidden within the depths of his shop. Children dared each other to approach the clockmaker's door, while adults exchanged knowing glances, half believing the tales. But Mr. Pendleton never spoke of such things. One rainy afternoon, a young girl named Clara ventured into the clock shop. Clara had always been fascinated by the intricate gears and tick-tocking sounds that filled the air. She was a dreamer, her imagination often taking her to faraway places. As she entered the shop, the soothing chime of a bell greeted her, and the warm smell of polished wood enveloped her. "Hello, Mr. Pendleton," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Ah, Clara," he replied, looking up from his workbench. "What brings you here today?" "I wanted to see your clocks," she said, her eyes wide with wonder. Mr. Pendleton smiled softly. "They have stories to tell if you care to listen." Clara wandered through the shop, marveling at the clocks lining the walls. Each one was unique, adorned with beautiful carvings and delicate hands that moved with precision. As she admired a particularly ornate grandfather clock, she noticed a door at the back of the shop, slightly ajar. "Is that where you keep the special clocks?" Clara asked, pointing toward the door. Mr. Pendleton's expression shifted. "Some things are best left untouched, my dear." But Clara's curiosity was piqued. She felt an irresistible pull toward the door, as if it were whispering secrets meant only for her. "Can I see?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. Mr. Pendleton hesitated, but then nodded. "Very well, but remember, curiosity can lead to unexpected places." As Clara stepped through the door, she found herself in a dimly lit room filled with clocks of every shape and size. The air was thick with the scent of aged wood and oil. In the center of the room stood a magnificent clock, unlike anything she had ever seen. It was tall and grand, adorned with celestial motifs and intricate engravings. "What is this clock?" Clara breathed, stepping closer. "That, my dear, is the timekeeper," Mr. Pendleton said, his voice low. "It is said to have the power to manipulate time, but it is not to be taken lightly." Clara's heart raced. "Can it really change time?" "In skilled hands, perhaps," he replied, his eyes distant. "But such power comes with great responsibility." Intrigued, Clara began to ask questions. "How does it work? What happens if someone uses it?" Mr. Pendleton sighed, his gaze drifting to the clock. "Time is a delicate fabric, woven with moments. To alter it is to risk unraveling reality itself. The timekeeper holds the potential for great good or great harm." Clara felt a mixture of fear and excitement. "Can I learn to use it?" "I cannot teach you," he said firmly. "But your heart is pure, Clara. Perhaps one day you will understand the weight of time." Days turned into weeks, and Clara found herself visiting Mr. Pendleton more often. Each visit deepened her fascination with the timekeeper and the mysteries of time. She listened intently as he shared stories of time's intricacies and the importance of cherishing each moment. But the allure of the timekeeper lingered in her mind. She dreamed of using its power to fix past mistakes or to glimpse into the future. The more she learned, the more she yearned to unlock its secrets. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow across the shop, Clara made a decision. She would find a way to understand the timekeeper's magic, no matter the cost. Clara's determination caught the attention of her best friend, Oliver. A boy with a wild imagination and a knack for adventure, Oliver had always been intrigued by the town's legends. When Clara shared her fascination with the timekeeper, he was immediately captivated. "Let's figure it out together," Oliver exclaimed, his eyes shining with excitement. "We can research the legends and see if there's a way to unlock its secrets." Clara hesitated, knowing the risks involved. But what if we're not ready? What if we change something we can't fix? "We'll be careful," Oliver assured her. "And besides, we're in this together." The following days were filled with frantic research. Clara and Oliver scoured the town's library, poring over ancient texts and dusty tomes. They discovered stories of others who had attempted to manipulate time, some ending in disaster, while others found wisdom and enlightenment. Through their readings, they learned about the delicate balance of time and the consequences of altering it. Clara's excitement began to wane as she read about the dangers, but Oliver remained steadfast. "We'll be different," he insisted. "We'll use it for good." One night, they stumbled upon a passage that spoke of a key that could unlock the timekeeper's true potential. "We need to find this key," Oliver declared, his voice filled with determination. The next day, armed with their newfound knowledge, Clara and Oliver set out on a quest to find the key. Their first destination was the town's oldest library, rumored to hold secrets of its own. As they searched through the dusty shelves, Clara felt a sense of urgency. "What if the key is hidden in plain sight?" she mused. Oliver nodded, his brow furrowed in concentration. "Let's look for anything related to time or clocks." Their search led them to a forgotten section of the library filled with ancient scrolls and manuscripts. As Clara unrolled one of the scrolls, she discovered a drawing of a clock with a peculiar inscription. "Only the pure of heart shall find the key to time." "What does that mean?" Clara asked. "It means we have to prove ourselves," Oliver replied. "We need to show that we are worthy of unlocking the timekeeper's secrets." Determined to prove their worth, Clara and Oliver embarked on a series of challenges that tested their character. They helped elderly neighbors with chores, volunteered at the community garden, and even organized a charity bake sale to raise money for those in need. With each act of kindness, Clara felt a growing sense of purpose. But the challenges were not without their difficulties. They faced setbacks and moments of doubt, questioning whether they would ever find the key. One evening, as they sat on a park bench, Clara sighed, "What if we're not meant to find it? What if we're chasing a dream?" Oliver looked at her, his expression serious. "If we give up now, we'll never know what could have been. We owe it to ourselves to see this through." Just when Clara began to lose hope, a chance encounter changed everything. While volunteering at the community center, she met an elderly woman named Mrs. Hawthorne. With twinkling eyes and a warm smile, Mrs. Hawthorne shared stories of her youth filled with adventure and magic. "Time is a gift, my dear," she said, her voice soft. "It should be cherished and used wisely." Clara felt a connection to the woman, as if she held the key to something deeper. "Do you believe in the legends of the timekeeper?" Clara asked cautiously. Mrs. Hawthorne's eyes sparkled with mischief. "Ah, the timekeeper. Many seek its power, but few understand its weight. The key, my dear, is not a physical object, but a state of mind." "What do you mean?" Clara asked, intrigued. "The key to time lies within your choices and intentions. When you act with kindness and integrity, you unlock the true essence of time." Clara pondered Mrs. Hawthorne's words long after their conversation ended. She realized that the key they sought might not be a tangible object, but rather a deeper understanding of their own hearts. With renewed determination, Clara and Oliver resumed their quest, focusing on being the best versions of themselves. They continued their acts of kindness, spreading joy and compassion throughout Eldridge. As they did, Clara noticed a change within herself. She felt more connected to the world around her, more aware of the fleeting moments that made life beautiful. One crisp autumn morning, Clara received a letter inviting her to a town gathering. The mayor announced that a special event would be held to honor the contributions of local heroes, those who had made a difference in the community. Clara felt a sense of pride swell within her. "This is our chance to showcase what we've done," she exclaimed to Oliver. The evening of the gathering arrived, and the townspeople filled the town square, laughter and excitement in the air. Clara and Oliver prepared to share their journey, explaining how their acts of kindness had brought the community together. As they took the stage, Clara's heart raced. She looked out at the crowd, their faces illuminated by lantern light. "We've learned that time is precious," she began, her voice steady, "and that every moment can be an opportunity to make a difference." After their presentation, the mayor approached Clara and Oliver, a proud smile on his face. "You've shown us the true meaning of community. In honor of your efforts, I would like to present you with a small token of appreciation." With that, he handed them a beautifully crafted hourglass, its golden sands shimmering in the light. "This hourglass represents the time you have given to others. May it serve as a reminder that time is a gift meant to be shared." Clara felt tears of joy welling in her eyes. She turned to Oliver, who grinned back at her, their hearts swelling with pride. That night, as Clara lay in bed, she reflected on the journey they had taken. The pursuit of the key had led them to discover the true essence of time, the importance of connection, kindness, and living in the moment. In her dreams, the timekeeper appeared before her, its ornate face glowing softly. "You have unlocked the greatest secret of all," it whispered. "Time is not to be controlled but cherished. Use your heart wisely, and you will always find your way." When Clara awoke, she felt an overwhelming sense of peace. She realized that she no longer needed the power of the timekeeper. She had already found the key within herself. As the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, Clara and Oliver continued to inspire their community. They organized events that celebrated kindness and connection, reminding everyone of the beauty in everyday moments. The clock shop remained a place of wonder, and Mr. Pendleton watched as Clara flourished. He smiled to himself, knowing that the true magic of time was unfolding before his eyes. One day, as Clara visited Mr. Pendleton, she noticed the timekeeper gleaming in the dim light of the shop. "What will happen to the clock now?" she asked. "It will remain a guardian of time," Mr. Pendleton replied. "But its true power lies in the hearts of those who understand its secrets." Years passed, and Clara grew into a remarkable young woman, her heart filled with wisdom and compassion. She became a beloved teacher in Eldridge, sharing her knowledge and experiences with the next generation. As she stood before her students, she often spoke of the importance of time and the connections they formed with one another. "Time is the most valuable gift we have," she would say. "Make every moment count." And so the legacy of the timekeeper continued, weaving through the lives of those in Eldridge. The town thrived as a community of kindness, where time was cherished and moments were celebrated. One day, Clara received a letter from Mr. Pendleton, inviting her to the clock shop for a special gathering. Curious, she arrived to find the shop filled with familiar faces. Friends, family, and neighbors she had touched with her kindness. Mr. Pendleton stood before them, a proud smile on his face. "Clara, you have become a true timekeeper in your own right. You have shown us all how to embrace the gift of time." Tears filled Clara's eyes as she looked around at the people she loved. "Thank you for believing in me," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "But the true magic comes from all of you. Together, we've created a beautiful tapestry of time." As the gathering came to a close, Mr. Pendleton presented Clara with a small, intricately designed clock pendant. "This is a symbol of your journey and the legacy you will carry forward. May it remind you that time is a precious gift, meant to be shared and cherished." Clara held the pendant close to her heart, feeling its warmth. She knew that the lessons she had learned would guide her for a lifetime. As the sun set over Eldridge, casting a golden glow upon the town, Clara looked around at the smiling faces of her community. She understood that the true secret of the timekeeper was not just about manipulating time, but about living fully in each moment. Years later, as Clara sat on her porch, surrounded by her own children, she shared the stories of her youth. She told them about the curious clockmaker, the magical timekeeper, and the lessons that had shaped her life. "Always remember," she said, her voice gentle, "time is a gift. Make the most of it and never forget to cherish the moments you share with others." Her children listened intently, their eyes wide with wonder. Clara knew that the legacy of the timekeeper would live on through them, just as it had in her. The clockmaker's secret had been passed down through generations, a reminder of the beauty that lay within the fabric of time. And so, the journey continued, as the people of Eldridge learned to embrace each moment, weaving their own stories into the tapestry of time. In the small, vibrant town of Willow Creek, nestled between rolling hills and sparkling streams, lived a girl named Mia. With her tousled brown hair and bright green eyes, she was a beacon of curiosity. Every day was an adventure, and every moment held the potential for discovery. Whether she was observing ants marching in a line or pondering why the sky turned pink at sunset, Mia was always asking questions. Her parents often found her in the kitchen, conducting experiments with whatever she could find. One day, she mixed flour and water, hoping to create a dough for cookies, but instead ended up with a sticky mess. Instead of frustration, she giggled at her creation, dubbing it Mia's Monster Dough. Her parents laughed, but they also encouraged her inquisitiveness, often joining her in her playful explorations. One sunny afternoon, while searching for old toys in the attic, Mia discovered an ancient trunk. Dust swirled in the air as she opened it, revealing a collection of forgotten treasures, old photographs, letters, and a peculiar book with a faded cover titled The Wonders of Everyday Science. Her heart raced with excitement. As she flipped through the pages, she found experiments that promised to reveal the mysteries behind everyday occurrences. Each chapter was filled with colorful illustrations and simple instructions. The book felt alive in her hands, as if it were calling her to unlock its secrets. Mia's eyes lit up when she read about the first experiment involving baking soda and vinegar. "This will be fun!" she exclaimed. She rushed to the kitchen, gathering the ingredients: a small bowl, baking soda, vinegar, and food coloring for a splash of excitement. Following the instructions carefully, Mia poured the baking soda into the bowl and added a few drops of food coloring. With a sense of anticipation, she slowly poured in the vinegar. Suddenly, a fizzy eruption filled the bowl, bubbling and overflowing like a mini volcano. "Wow! Look at it go!" she shouted, jumping up and down. The colorful bubbles danced around the kitchen, and Mia was amazed. But her curiosity didn't stop there. She wanted to understand why this reaction occurred. After cleaning up the mess, Mia sat at her kitchen table with a notebook. She wrote down her observations and began to research the science behind her experiment. She learned that baking soda is a base, while vinegar is an acid. When they combine, they produce carbon dioxide gas, which leads to the bubbling effect she had witnessed. Excited by her findings, Mia decided to write a letter to her science teacher, Ms. Thompson, sharing her experiment and the science behind it. She hoped to inspire her classmates to explore science in their own homes. Encouraged by her success, Mia flipped through the book for another experiment. Her eyes landed on a colorful project titled The Rainbow in a Jar. The instructions seemed simple enough, and she couldn't wait to try it. Gathering sugar, water, food coloring, and several glasses, Mia set to work. She prepared different concentrations of sugar solutions by mixing varying amounts of sugar and water, each dyed with a different color. One by one, she layered the solutions in a single glass, starting with the most concentrated at the bottom. To her delight, the colors formed distinct layers, creating a stunning rainbow. Mia marveled at her creation, realizing that the science of density had allowed her to create something beautiful. She felt a sense of pride as she admired her work. That evening, Mia sat down to explore the concept of density. She learned that denser liquids sink below lighter ones, which explained why her rainbow had held its shape. The realization that science was not just numbers and equations, but also beauty and creativity thrilled her. Mia decided to share her rainbow jar with her friends. She invited them over for a science day the following weekend, eager to show them what she had discovered. As the week progressed, Mia couldn't contain her excitement. She wanted to include one more experiment for Science Day. After browsing through her book, she settled on an experiment involving magnets and paper clips. The day of the event arrived, and Mia's friends gathered in her backyard, buzzing with anticipation. She explained the basics of magnetism, demonstrating how the magnet could attract the paperclip without touching it. The kids gasped in wonder as the paperclip floated toward the magnet. "Why does this happen?" one of her friends asked. Mia smiled, ready to share her knowledge. She explained that magnets have a magnetic field, an invisible force that attracts certain metals. The children were captivated, and they eagerly took turns experimenting with magnets and various objects around the yard. Mia's science day was a resounding success. Her friends were filled with excitement and curiosity, asking questions and wanting to learn more. Inspired by her enthusiasm, they began to conduct their own experiments using materials they found around the house. Mia realized that her discoveries had sparked something special in her friends. She was no longer just a curious girl. She was a young scientist, inspiring others to explore the wonders of science in their everyday lives. Encouraged by the success of Science Day, Mia decided to take her passion further. She approached Ms. Thompson about organizing a community science fair. "We can showcase our experiments and share what we've learned," she proposed. Ms. Thompson was thrilled about the idea and offered her support. Together, they began planning the event, reaching out to families, local businesses, and schools. The community responded enthusiastically, eager to participate and contribute. As the fair approached, Mia and her friends worked tirelessly to prepare their projects. They experimented with everything from homemade volcanoes to simple circuits. Each child brought their unique ideas, and Mia felt a sense of camaraderie as they collaborated and learned from one another. On the day of the fair, the school gymnasium was transformed into a vibrant science exhibition. Tables were set up with colorful displays, and the air buzzed with excitement. Mia's heart raced as she watched families and friends explore the projects. As the fair began, Mia took her place at her booth, ready to share her experiments. She demonstrated the baking soda and vinegar reaction, explaining the science behind it to curious onlookers. Children and adults alike were captivated by the colorful eruptions. "Can we try it?" a little boy asked, eyes wide with excitement. Mia smiled. "Of course, let's do it together." With the help of her friends, she guided the children through the experiment, encouraging them to ask questions and make observations. Laughter and excitement filled the gym as bubbles overflowed from the bowls. As the day progressed, Mia noticed a group of younger children gathered around her booth, amazed by her experiments. One girl, Lily, raised her hand shyly. "Can I be a scientist like you?" she asked. Mia's heart swelled with pride. "Absolutely. Anyone can be a scientist. You just have to be curious and willing to explore." Lily's face lit up with determination. "I want to try more experiments." Mia realized that her journey was not just about her own discoveries. It was about igniting the spark of curiosity in others. This moment solidified her passion for science and teaching. As the fair came to an end, Mia reflected on the day. She saw families bonding over science, children asking questions, and a community coming together to celebrate learning. The experience reaffirmed her belief in the power of curiosity and exploration. Mia knew that science wasn't confined to classrooms or textbooks. It was all around them, in their homes, their gardens, and their everyday lives. She felt a sense of responsibility to continue sharing this knowledge. Inspired by the success of the science fair, Mia decided to start a science club at her school. She envisioned a place where students could gather to experiment, learn, and share their findings. With Ms. Thompson's support, she created an announcement for the first meeting. "Join us for Science Explorers Club. Let's unlock the secrets of everyday science together." The response was overwhelming. Students of all ages signed up, eager to explore the wonders of science. Mia felt a surge of excitement as she planned activities and experiments for the club. On the day of the first meeting, Mia welcomed her classmates, a mix of eager faces and shy smiles. "Welcome to the Science Explorers Club. Today we're going to do our first experiment together." She led the group in a fun activity involving homemade lava lamps. As they combined oil, water, and food coloring in clear bottles, the children watched in awe as bubbles formed and rose to the top. "Why does it work like this?" a boy named Ethan asked, his eyes wide with wonder. Mia explained the science of density and immiscibility. The children listened intently, their curiosity growing with each passing moment. As the weeks went by, the Science Explorers Club flourished. Mia and her friends conducted experiments on various topics, from simple chemical reactions to exploring the principles of flight with paper airplanes. Each session was filled with laughter, learning, and shared discoveries. One day, Mia introduced a project on plant growth. They planted seeds in different conditions, some in sunlight, others in darkness, and some with varying amounts of water. Over the weeks, they observed the changes, documenting their findings in notebooks. Mia's passion for science began to extend beyond the walls of the school. With the support of her club members, she proposed creating a community garden where they could grow plants and conduct experiments on gardening and sustainability. The idea was met with enthusiasm. Together, they secured a small plot of land in a nearby park and began working on the garden. They planted flowers, vegetables, and herbs, learning about the science of growth and ecology. Mia felt a sense of pride watching the garden flourish. It became a space for learning, exploration, and community bonding. Families often visited, and children played while learning about nature. But not everything was easy. Mia faced challenges, from pests invading their garden to the unpredictability of the weather. One stormy night, they lost several plants, and Mia felt disheartened. However, she quickly reminded herself that challenges were part of the learning process. She gathered her club members and they brainstormed solutions together. They researched pest control methods and learned about companion planting to protect their crops. Through perseverance, the garden began to thrive again, and Mia learned valuable lessons about resilience and teamwork. As the school year progressed, Mia and her friends prepared for another science fair. This time, they wanted to showcase the community garden and the experiments they had conducted. They planned to demonstrate the importance of sustainability and the science behind gardening. The fair approached, and excitement filled the air. Mia and her club members set up their booth, displaying vibrant plants and posters explaining their findings. They engaged visitors with hands-on activities like planting seeds and creating compost. On the day of the fair, Mia felt a sense of fulfillment. She watched as families explored their booth, asking questions and learning about the wonders of gardening and sustainability. Lily, the girl from the first fair, approached Mia with her younger brother. "Look, we planted seeds just like you showed us," she exclaimed, holding a small pot with a sprouting plant. Mia beamed with pride. "That's amazing, Lily! You're already a scientist!" The fair was a tremendous success, and Mia realized that she had not only inspired her friends, but also a new generation of curious minds. The community was buzzing with excitement about science, and Mia felt a sense of purpose. As summer approached, Mia reflected on her journey. She had unlocked the secrets of everyday science and shared her passion with others. The garden thrived, and the Science Explorers Club had become a beloved part of the community. Mia knew that this was just the beginning. She dreamed of becoming a scientist, perhaps even a science educator, dedicating her life to inspiring curiosity in others. With each experiment, she had discovered not only the wonders of science, but also the joy of sharing knowledge. Years later, as Mia stood before a classroom of eager students, she remembered the moments that had ignited her passion for science. She had become the teacher she had once admired, sharing the magic of discovery with the next generation. "Science is all around us," she said, smiling at her students. "Every question you ask can lead to a new adventure. Embrace your curiosity." As she looked into the bright faces of her students, Mia knew that the journey of unlocking the secrets of everyday science would continue, and she was excited to be a part of it. Her heart swelled with gratitude for the community that had nurtured her passion, and she felt a deep sense of connection to the curious minds that would follow in her footsteps. Mia's story is a reminder that curiosity can lead to incredible discoveries. By unlocking the secrets of everyday science, she not only transformed her own life, but also inspired others to embrace the wonders of the world around them. Science is not just a subject to be studied. It is a way of seeing the world, a lens through which to explore the mysteries of life. With each question, each experiment, and each shared moment of discovery, Mia's journey continues, echoing the belief that everyone has the potential to be a scientist. And so, the adventure of unlocking the secrets of everyday science goes on, one curious mind at a time.
In the quaint town of Willow Creek, nestled between lush green hills, lived two childhood friends, Mia and Lucas. They spent their days exploring the woods, building forts, and sharing dreams of the future. As they grew older, their bond deepened into a love that felt as natural as the changing seasons. However, their families harbored a long-standing feud. The Montagues and the Capulets had been rivals for generations, and the thought of their children falling in love was met with fierce disapproval. Despite this, Mia and Lucas remained devoted to each other, believing that love could bridge the divide. One summer evening, Mia and Lucas decided to meet at their favorite spot by the river. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the water, they exchanged promises of forever. But the next day, their families discovered their secret meetings and forbade them from seeing each other again. Heartbroken but determined, Mia and Lucas devised a plan. They would run away together and start a new life, free from the constraints of their family's animosity. They packed their belongings, met under the cover of night, and set off toward the distant mountains. As they journeyed, they faced numerous challenges, treacherous paths, wild storms, and moments of doubt. Yet, through every trial, their love fueled their resolve. They supported each other, finding strength in their shared dreams and unwavering belief in one another. However, word of their departure spread through Willow Creek. Their families, desperate to bring them back, sent search parties into the mountains. The tension between the Montagues and the Capulets reached a boiling point, and a confrontation seemed inevitable. One night, as Mia and Lucas huddled together in a cave, they heard the distant shouts of their families. Fear crept in, and doubts began to surface. What if they were torn apart forever? But as they looked into each other's eyes, they remembered the love that brought them this far. Mia, Lucas said, "We can't let them destroy what we have. Love is stronger than any feud." With renewed determination, they decided to return home, ready to face their families and confront the hatred that had kept them apart for so long. They emerged from the mountains, hand in hand, and made their way back to Willow Creek. When they arrived, a tense standoff awaited them. The Montagues and the Capulets stood face to face, anger and fear etched on their faces. But Mia and Lucas stepped forward, their hearts pounding. "Stop!" Mia cried, her voice steady. "We refuse to let this feud dictate our lives. Our love is real, and it can heal the wounds between us." Lucas nodded, his grip on her hand tightening. "We want to show you that love can conquer hate. If you let us, we can all start anew." The silence that followed was heavy, but slowly, the tension began to fade. One by one, the elders of both families began to reconsider, realizing the futility of their long-standing grudge. They saw the courage in Mia and Lucas, and the love that shone in their eyes. Eventually, one brave elder stepped forward, offering a hand to the other side. "Let us put our differences aside for the sake of our children." With that gesture, the walls that had divided them began to crumble. As the Montagues and Capulets embraced, the town of Willow Creek breathed a collective sigh of relief. Mia and Lucas had not only fought for their love but had also sparked a change in their families. From that day forward, the town celebrated their union, proving that love truly conquers all, even the deepest of divides.
In a small town nestled between rolling hills, there lived a woman named Sarah. At 28, she had built a life that was comfortable yet predictable. Every morning she would wake up early, brew a cup of coffee, and glance out at the world from her little apartment. The town was charming, with its quaint shops and friendly neighbors, but after years of the same routine, Sarah felt a deep yearning for something more. Her job at the local library was fulfilling in its own way. She loved being surrounded by books, each one a doorway to another world. But as she shelved the same titles day after day, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was stuck in a loop. While her life was stable, it lacked excitement and adventure. She often found herself daydreaming about traveling to far-off places, meeting new people, and experiencing life in vibrant colors instead of the muted tones of her daily existence. One rainy afternoon, as she sorted through old books in the library, Sarah stumbled upon a dusty novel tucked away on a forgotten shelf. The cover, faded but beautiful, drew her in. As she opened the book, a sense of adventure washed over her. The story was about a woman who dared to leave her small town for a life of exploration, filled with vibrant characters and new experiences. The protagonist faced challenges and fears, but ultimately found her true self in the process. Inspired by the character's courage, Sarah felt a flicker of desire ignite within her chest. What if she could change her story? What if she could step outside her comfort zone and embrace the unknown? That night, she lay awake, contemplating the possibilities. The idea of change excited her, but it also terrified her. The next morning, Sarah made a decision. She would start small. She signed up for a pottery class at the community center, something she had always wanted to try but never had the courage to pursue. On the first day, she walked into the studio, her heart racing. The room was filled with laughter and the sound of clay being shaped. As she introduced herself to the instructor and other students, she felt a mix of anxiety and excitement. The instructor, a lively woman named Margaret, welcomed her with open arms. "Pottery is all about experimentation and embracing the messiness of the process," she said, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Sarah felt a wave of relief wash over her. This was a space where mistakes were not only allowed but encouraged. As the weeks passed, Sarah found herself immersed in the world of pottery. She loved the feel of the clay between her fingers, the way it transformed under her hands. With each class, she grew more confident, experimenting with different techniques and styles. The creative process sparked joy within her, and she met new friends who shared her passion. They would often stay after class, chatting about their lives and dreams, bonding over their shared experiences. Encouraged by her newfound confidence, Sarah decided to take another leap. She signed up for a weekend art retreat in a nearby town. The thought of spending 2 days with strangers, exploring her creativity in a different environment, thrilled and scared her. But she reminded herself of the courage she had found in pottery and pushed through her fears. At the retreat, Sarah discovered a community of artists with diverse backgrounds and experiences. They shared stories, challenges, and triumphs, creating a supportive atmosphere where everyone felt free to express themselves. Sarah participated in workshops, tried new mediums, and even shared her pottery pieces. The feedback was overwhelmingly positive, and for the first time, she felt like she belonged. One evening, as the sun set over the retreat center, casting a warm glow on the gathering, Sarah joined a group around the bonfire. They shared their dreams and aspirations under the stars. Listening to their stories, she felt inspired to embrace her own desires more fully. She realized that change wasn't just about trying new things. It was about discovering who she truly was. The following morning, during a painting workshop, Sarah found herself drawn to a particular canvas, featuring a landscape she had always wanted to paint. With each stroke of the brush, she felt her worries fade away, replaced by a sense of freedom and expression. As she stepped back to admire her work, she felt a surge of pride. It was a beautiful mess of colors that reflected her journey: bold strokes, vibrant colors, and a few splashes of chaos. When she returned home, Sarah felt a sense of purpose she had never experienced before. She transformed her small living room into a creative space, filled with her pottery, paintings, and sketches. Each piece reflected her journey and the courage it took to pursue her passions. The once quiet corners of her apartment now buzzed with inspiration and creativity. With her newfound confidence, she decided to showcase her work at the town's annual arts festival. The thought of putting herself out there was daunting, but she couldn't ignore the excitement bubbling inside her. She spent weeks preparing, creating a collection of pottery and art pieces that told her story of transformation. As the festival approached, Sarah found herself caught between excitement and anxiety. She practiced her presentation over and over, rehearsing how she would share her journey with visitors. What if they didn't like her work? What if she stumbled over her words? But every time the doubts crept in, she remembered the support she had felt at the retreat and the encouragement of her new friends. The day of the festival arrived, and Sarah set up her booth, her heart racing. The vibrant colors of her artwork drew people in, and as visitors wandered by, she shared her journey, explaining how she had found the courage to change her life. To her surprise, people were genuinely interested, offering compliments and encouragement. When a local art gallery owner approached her, expressing interest in displaying her work, Sarah couldn't believe it. This was the opportunity she had always dreamed of, a chance to share her art with a wider audience. She accepted with gratitude, feeling a wave of excitement wash over her. As the months passed, Sarah's art gained recognition, and she continued to push her boundaries. She experimented with new techniques, collaborated with other artists, and even began teaching pottery classes at the community center. Each step reinforced her belief that change was not just a one-time decision, but an ongoing journey. However, the journey was not without challenges. Sarah faced moments of self-doubt, especially when an art piece she submitted to a local exhibition was rejected. For a brief moment, she contemplated giving up. But recalling the supportive words of her friends from the retreat, she reminded herself that every setback was a stepping stone. With renewed determination, she sought feedback, refined her technique, and submitted her work again. This time, she was accepted. As Sarah stood in front of her first class, a group of eager students ready to learn pottery, she felt a mix of excitement and nerves. Teaching was a new experience, and she wanted to inspire her students as others had inspired her. She began the class by sharing her journey of transformation, explaining how pottery had helped her discover her true self. The students listened intently, their eyes wide with curiosity. As she guided them through the basics of shaping clay, Sarah felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. She loved seeing their creativity blossom, and the joy on their faces as they created their first pieces filled her heart with warmth. Over the following weeks, Sarah built strong relationships with her students. They shared their stories, fears, and dreams, creating a supportive community within the pottery studio. One student, a shy girl named Lily, particularly captured Sarah's attention. Lily often hesitated to try new techniques, fearing she wouldn't succeed. Sarah recognized her own past struggles in Lily and took it upon herself to encourage her. One afternoon, as they worked side by side, Sarah gently nudged Lily to explore her creativity. "You know, it's okay to make mistakes. That's how we learn," she said, smiling encouragingly. Lily looked up, her eyes filled with uncertainty, but also a flicker of determination. With Sarah's support, she began to experiment with her pottery, slowly gaining confidence. As Sarah continued to teach, she realized how much she had grown. She was no longer the timid woman who once feared stepping outside her comfort zone. She had embraced change, and it had transformed her life in ways she never imagined. Inspired by her students, she decided to take on another challenge, organizing an art exhibition featuring their works alongside her own. The idea filled her with exhilaration and fear. Would her students feel ready to showcase their pieces? Would the community support them? After discussing it with her class, Sarah was amazed by their enthusiasm. Together, they began planning the exhibition, brainstorming ideas for promotion and presentation. In the weeks leading up to the event, the studio buzzed with excitement. Sarah watched as her students flourished, their confidence growing with each passing day. They worked tirelessly, creating beautiful pieces that reflected their unique styles and stories. Sarah felt a sense of pride as she witnessed their transformations, knowing she had played a role in their journeys. The day of the exhibition arrived, and the studio was transformed into a vibrant gallery filled with colorful artwork. Friends, family, and members of the community gathered to celebrate the students' achievements. As Sarah stood at the entrance greeting guests, she felt a mixture of nerves and joy. When the doors opened, visitors flooded in, marveling at the art on display. Sarah watched as her students spoke passionately about their creations, their faces glowing with pride. The sense of community and support was palpable, and she couldn't help but feel overwhelmed with gratitude. As the evening unfolded, Sarah took a moment to step back and reflect. She had come so far from the woman who once felt confined by her routine. The courage to change had opened doors she never knew existed, and now she was surrounded by a community of artists who had inspired her just as much as she had inspired them. As the night drew to a close, Sarah gathered her students together. "I'm so proud of each and every one of you," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "You've all shown incredible courage and creativity. This exhibition is just the beginning of your journeys as artists." In the months that followed, Sarah's life continued to evolve. The exhibition had sparked interest in her work, leading to more opportunities for collaboration and teaching. She also started a blog to document her journey and share her experiences with others, seeking the courage to change. Her blog quickly gained traction, resonating with people from all walks of life. Readers shared their own stories of transformation, and Sarah found herself connecting with a community that extended far beyond her small town. She began receiving messages from individuals who felt inspired to pursue their passions, reminding her of her own journey. However, with success came challenges. Balancing teaching, blogging, and her own artistic pursuits often left Sarah feeling overwhelmed. There were days when self-doubt crept in, whispering that she wasn't doing enough, or that she was unworthy of the recognition she had received. On those days, she would reread the heartfelt messages from her students and blog followers, grounding herself in the knowledge that she was making a difference. One evening, while scrolling through her messages, Sarah received an email that caught her attention. It was from an art organization in a neighboring city, inviting her to host a workshop series on pottery and creativity for underprivileged youth. The opportunity filled her with excitement and trepidation. It was a chance to make an impact beyond her community, but it also meant stepping into a new role as a mentor. After contemplating the offer, Sarah decided to accept. She spent weeks preparing for the workshops, researching ways to engage the youth and make the experience meaningful. When the day arrived, she felt a mix of nerves and anticipation. As she entered the community center, she was greeted by a group of energetic kids, their eyes wide with curiosity. Sarah introduced herself and shared her journey, hoping to inspire them to embrace their own creativity. Throughout the workshops, she witnessed their struggles and triumphs, and she felt a deep connection with each of them. One boy, Marcus, particularly resonated with her. He was quiet and reserved, often hesitant to participate. Sarah recognized the fear in his eyes, the same fear she had once felt. With encouragement and patience, she helped him find his voice through art. Slowly, he began to open up, creating beautiful pieces that reflected his emotions. As the workshops progressed, Sarah felt a profound sense of fulfillment. She was not only teaching art, she was empowering these young individuals to believe in themselves and their abilities. The transformation she witnessed in her students mirrored her own journey, and it filled her with hope. One day, after a particularly successful session, Marcus approached Sarah. "Can I show you something?" he asked shyly. He pulled out a small sculpture he had created during the workshop. It was a representation of his dreams, a soaring eagle, wings spread wide. Tears filled Sarah's eyes as she admired his work. "This is incredible, Marcus! You've captured so much emotion in this piece," she said, her heart swelling with pride. In that moment, she realized the true power of art. It had the ability to heal, inspire, and connect people in ways words often could not. As the workshops came to an end, Sarah and the kids organized an exhibition of their artwork. The community center was transformed into a vibrant gallery, showcasing their creations. Friends, family, and community members gathered to celebrate the young artists, and Sarah couldn't have been prouder. When Sarah returned home after the final workshop, she felt a sense of closure and accomplishment. The experience had changed her, reinforcing her belief that the courage to change could ripple out and impact others. She reflected on how far she had come since she first decided to step out of her comfort zone. Back in her apartment, Sarah took a moment to breathe deeply, surrounded by her creations. The walls were adorned with her artwork, each piece telling a story of her journey, of courage, growth, and connection. She felt grateful for every challenge that had led her to this moment. Back in her apartment, Sarah took a moment to breathe deeply, surrounded by her creations. The walls were adorned with her artwork, each piece telling a story of her journey, of courage, growth, and connection. She felt grateful for every challenge that had led her to this moment. As she sat down to write in her journal, she reflected on her experiences. The words flowed effortlessly as she documented her journey, her struggles, and the lessons she had learned. She wanted to inspire others to embrace their own transformations, to find the courage to change. With a renewed sense of purpose, Sarah decided to expand her reach. She began organizing community events focused on creativity and self-expression, inviting artists and creatives to share their stories and skills. The events brought people together, fostering a sense of belonging and support. Through her efforts, Sarah created a safe space for individuals to explore their passions and connect with one another. The community flourished, and she watched as others found the courage to pursue their dreams, just as she had. One day during a community event, Sarah met a woman named Clara, who had recently moved to the area. Clara shared her struggles with feeling lost and unfulfilled. Sarah listened intently, recognizing the familiar spark of fear in Clara's eyes. "I understand how you feel," she said gently, "but I want you to know that change is possible. You just have to take that first step." Encouraged by Sarah's words, Clara decided to join one of the upcoming workshops. Over the following weeks, Sarah watched as Clara blossomed, discovering her own creativity and passion for painting. Their friendship grew, and Sarah felt grateful for the opportunity to support another person on their journey. As Sarah continued to teach, create, and inspire, she realized that the journey of change was ongoing. There were still moments of doubt and fear, but they no longer held her back. Instead, she embraced them as part of her growth. One evening, while reflecting on her journey, Sarah realized how far she had come. The timid woman who once felt trapped in her routine had blossomed into a confident artist, teacher, and mentor. She had discovered the courage to pursue her passions, and in doing so, she inspired others to embrace their own journeys of change. As the seasons turned, Sarah found herself dreaming of new adventures. She longed to explore different cultures, learn new techniques, and connect with artists from around the world. The idea of traveling to an art residency in a foreign country excited her, but it also filled her with trepidation. After much contemplation, she decided to apply for the residency. The thought of leaving her community behind was daunting, but she knew that stepping beyond her comfort zone was essential for her growth. Days turned into weeks as she prepared her application and portfolio, pouring her heart into every detail. When Sarah received the acceptance email, she felt a rush of excitement mixed with nerves. She was going to an art residency in Italy for 3 months. The opportunity to immerse herself in a new culture, learn from talented artists, and explore the beauty of the Italian countryside was a dream come true. As she packed her bags, Sarah reflected on her journey. She had come so far from the woman who once feared change. Each step she had taken had led her to this moment, and she was ready to embrace the adventure ahead. Arriving in Italy, Sarah was greeted by the stunning landscape of rolling hills, vineyards, and quaint villages. The art residency was located in a picturesque villa, surrounded by olive trees and flowers. As she settled in, she felt a sense of excitement and possibility wash over her. During the residency, Sarah met artists from diverse backgrounds, each with their own unique stories and perspectives. They shared ideas, techniques, and experiences, creating a vibrant atmosphere of creativity and collaboration. Sarah felt her artistic voice expanding as she experimented with new mediums and styles. In the evenings, the group would gather for discussions, sharing their thoughts on art, life, and the creative process. Sarah found herself inspired by the stories of her fellow artists, each one a testament to the power of courage and resilience. They became friends, forming a supportive community that encouraged one another to take risks and explore their creativity. One day, while wandering through a local market, Sarah stumbled upon a small art shop filled with handmade ceramics. The vibrant colors and intricate designs captivated her, and she felt a surge of inspiration.